Just before we get into this video, let me just tell you now, I've got a big piece of news. West Ham Fan TV have officially joined Omili. Omili is more than just a platform, it's a space where football fans become part of the action, hosting your shows, jumping in as guests, or simply just connecting with others who share your passion. At Omili, football equals life. Football is more than just a game, but aren't you just tired of watching and typing from the sidelines? With Omili, it's time to get into the game. Omili brings fans together like never before. All you have to do to sign up is create your account, download your free AI avatar like this one, follow the people you want to follow, and get engaging with your favourite content creators or become one yourself. With Omili, it's time to get into the game. Omili brings fans together like never before. Whether you want to host your own live debate, jump into someone else's as a guest, or just listen, Omili is the place where true football conversations happen. This isn't just another social platform, it's where real fans speak, share, and shape the future of football together. Click that QR code and download Omili today, because on Sunday, November the 10th at 2 p.m, I'll be coming with all the action from the London Stadium, reviewing it as West Ham take on Everton. One thing left to say, come on you Irons. Hello everyone, Nicky Hawkins here. Welcome back to another video. Now, West Ham, on the back of a terrible defeat away to Nottingham Forest, the pressure is building on Julian Lopetegui, and I'm sure that there's a few teams that would rather be facing at the London Stadium this week than Everton. They always seem to get the better of us when we need to get the win, but there we go. We're joined by Stephen from the Toffee Blues. Stephen, talk to me, mate. Like, give me some good news here, because I am absolutely bricking it this weekend.
Well, I mean, you're not too dissimilar from Evertonians at the moment, to be honest with you, Nicky. We're absolutely poor. We have been poor most of this season, barring a couple of decent performances here and there. We still just haven't picked up as many points as we should have. Last week, a terrible defeat at St Mary's.
Yeah.
Against Southampton, and honestly, really, it's just exhausting now being an Evertonian. And thankfully, after this week, we can have the international break to try and regroup a little bit before we have to worry about our respective clubs again. But honestly, I think, to be honest, I mean, I haven't seen too much of West Ham under Lopetegui, but judging from what I've seen of Everton, listen, anyone can beat us now. Southampton, who many thought were dead and buried and wouldn't get a point for the rest of this calendar year, now have it, because we just can't take chances at all, and we just can't seem to score enough goals. So really, I think you can definitely be a lot more optimistic than you currently are.
I mean, to be fair, I'm going to be totally honest. When you look at the standing of the two teams, I mean, first 3 games of the season for you guys, I was looking at you. You got beat, and then 2 crazy results on the spin, where you come from a couple of goals up and ended up losing the games. I'm going to be honest. I was sitting there saying to my mates, I can't see Everton surviving this year. I don't know where the wins are going to come from. But I'm going to give you a bit of optimism here, and this, I don't think this is going to give you much. But listen, this is a real 6-pointer this weekend. If you win, you go above us in the table, and that's just a bit detriment to how poor we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it on our channel when we did our video that it's so easy to get yourself up that table. If you get a run of winnable games, and the most annoying thing is we've had a run of winnable games. We've had games that we should have been winning the last 5 or 6. We've had Leicester away, Palace at home. We've had Fulham at home where we could have picked up points, and obviously Southampton away last week, where we just completely capitulated. And no matter who we brought on, we just couldn't seem to score a goal. And it seemed like it was 11 players that had never played together before, all coming on and playing. And really, I just really don't know where the next result is going to come from. I think you are right in that sense. I think we will pick up results as we go along, but to be honest, there's never every game's a must win for Everton, because you can never predict any of them. You're never going to go, oh yeah, we'll win there. We seem to just throw it away every single time. And you mentioned that this weekend is a 6-pointer. If we'd have got 3 points last week against Southampton, we'd have lifted ourselves up to 13th. And now we could be trying new things. But now again, we're just making it hard for ourselves. We're getting dragged a little bit closer again towards the relegation zone. And yeah, I mean, and this is a big one, because I mean, plan A of football, just beat the teams around you and you'll be okay. But it's a sorry existence.
But you look at the table. I mean, you're just about. you've got 9 points, we've got 11. Arsenal up in fifth have only got 18. Chelsea have only got 18, and they've been flying. I mean, it is so tight still.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it. I mean, Man United, they seem to pick up results every time I watch them, and they're only, I think, a couple points ahead of us. So
Yeah, yeah,
uh, it's confusing. I mean, and really, I think there's so many surprising results get knocked about that, and there's so many dark horses as well. I mean, Bournemouth
yeah,
have really kicked on, and now the Bournemouth, and I think it's Bournemouth and Forest, the two teams that you don't want to be playing. So, I mean, really,
yeah,
it's a funny old league this season, and to be honest, I think it's a really feels like a missed opportunity. I think for both of us that we're not trying to push up and be higher up the league than we are because it's clearly obvious that it's doable, but
yeah.
fortunately, football doesn't work like that.
But that's we spoke about on your channel. The Emery effect for Villa. Look at where they are now. Look at what they're doing now. They was bottom, so it just shows you what a string of results can do. Listen, we desperately need a string of results. Let's talk about Everton over the last couple of years. I mean, from the outside looking in, and and I haven't spoke to many Everton fans, I must admit. It looks like it's worse every year. Is this the case? Is it still the case? Is there any hope on the horizon? I know you've got the new stadium coming up, and that must be worrying at times when you think to yourself like you're still lingering around the bottom of the league. Especially what's happened in the last couple of years. Is there worries now, or is there signs of improvement? Is it what needs to happen with Everton?
It's like being in the mafia. It's like supporting this club. It's like you're constantly looking over your shoulder. You can never really relax. There's always some hitman manager who gets brought in to get you out of it, and then demands more from the club or more from the supporters. And
Yeah,
honestly, it just feels like such a stressful existence, and every season it seems to be getting worse. I mean, the last time I can say I was really happy with the state of the club was probably going into the COVID season under Ancelotti. Was the
yeah,
last
yeah.
time where it looked like we might have been looking up a little bit, but even then, we struggled to get results, and we struggled to, we were in the top four for a lot of that season. We ended up finishing 11th, so um, it, I think really that the whole culture around the club has just died a death. And when people say why is it so necessary? It's necessary to leave Goodison. I think that's the reason. There is no culture around the club. There's nothing that says this is Everton. Um, it just feels like everyone brought in is sort of a 0 hours. Um, just get us over the line, player or manager or member of staff. No, there's no hierarchy that's leading the club in the right direction. And hopefully when we move into the new stadium, we can have a little bit more of that. We can try and build our own identity, and when the Freegan group do take over, um, hopefully it'll get a bit better. But I think also sharing a city with Liverpool and the culture that they've got and how well they're doing and how seamless the move from Klopp to Slot has been, it makes you realise how poor we actually are.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say that. It wasn't the same for us at Upton Park. We still had the culture there, but if you feel like the culture's going and the culture's gone, and there's no real affiliation with the club anymore, like the old Gladys End and all of that sort of thing. Is that what you're looking forward to? Getting to a new stadium, building your new history, building an identity from scratch? Because it seems like the Everton way is gone. It's
Oh,
completely
yeah.
disappeared.
100%. I mean, I think it's quite similar that, and it's hard to really pinpoint it, Nicky, what it means. But when people talk about the West Ham way, or the Arsenal way, or the Liverpool way, I know what that is in my head. I sort of get it, but you don't. It's very hard to explain to somebody what that means, isn't it? Everton used to have a way, and we don't have a way anymore. So that's what I want back. I want players I can be proud of. I want a club I can be proud of. And to be honest, it's like it is like I mean, it's a loveless marriage, isn't it? I mean, you just you're just sort of waiting it out in case something happens, and you carry on putting yourself through it all just on the hope that you might get something out of it. But
The,
to
the
be
thing,
honest,
the thing. the thing I picture Everton is, and as you say, you see, I'm looking for the old, the old guys like the Duncan Fergusons, the Alan Weirs, um, the David Unsworths, the ones that were really ingrained into Everton's folklore. The ones that the Leighton Baineses, that sort of type. The type that will Seamus Coleman even, and he's still there. Will run through brick walls for the club, but still with a little bit of with players with a little bit of flair, like the Lukaku's, who was absolutely phenomenal under you, like the Stephen Pienaars. That was the balance back then. It would be them grafters and people that would run through Alan Stubbs, run through brick walls for you, and then the players that can, will do the business up the top end of the pitch. I don't see any of that anymore.
I think what the three players, and I asked you on our channel for 4 players that represent West Ham, and you gave a very good answer. For us, I think the players that represent our club are Howard Kendall, Alan Ball, and Colin Harvey, who, won trophies with the club, have managed the club. Our greatest ever manager and player, Howard Kendall. That's the Everton way for me. It's, having class, having quality, putting the effort in, but also having the quality to be better than whoever you play, and being ruthless, being smart in the transfer market, carrying yourself with class and dignity, being the school of science, but also having that dogs of war side where you can dig in and you won't be pushed around. That's what Everton Football Club is known as to my granddad and my dad, but to me, it's not.
But a lot of them names that you mentioned there, it was a city pride as well. They wanted to compete. They see the other side of Liverpool doing really well. They wanted to compete with them. They wanted they wanted to be the talk of the town. The Andy Grays of the world. They saw the way that Liverpool were moving, and they thought, no, we're not having this. We're going to be the fucking top side in this city. And that's all gone now. Even over in Manchester, you don't get that anymore. But there we go. Yeah. Long forgotten time of football. Look, let's move on to the weekend then. How do you see this one going? Because I'll be honest with you, Steve, I ain't got a fucking clue.
Well, I said I said that 0-0 was I think the most realistic, because I think both sides will cancel each other out. But to be honest, I wouldn't. Yeah, I think you could be forgiven for thinking that this is going to end in like a 4-4 or a 5-4, because you really don't know the way it's going to go. Everton can score goals. I think in a way we just choose not to, which sounds very silly. But I mean, we saw the Fulham game. We were 1-0 down. The game was there for the taking, Nicky. The entire 90 minutes, Fulham were there for the taking. We went 1-0 down, and in the last 5 minutes, he throws Beto on. He throws Michael Keane up there with him, and we score instantly. Southampton, you saw it. The game was there for the taking yet again. We go 1-0 down. He brings Beto on. He puts Michael Keane up with him, and Beto scores, and it's ruled out for offside because his left kneecap's offside. But that's a topic for another video. But
Yeah.
I think we can score goals. We just don't choose to, unfortunately. And
I think like us, the manager's more pragmatic, and he's trying to tighten it up and not concede. And sometimes they concentrate so much on not conceding that they forget that they got to go and score on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get 3 points for draws, which is obvious, but you need to be picking up 3 points. It's not good enough to pick up loads of draws. You'll go down that way.
Absolutely.
If you draw every game, you'll probably just about stay up. So,
are you going to stick with your 0-0?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with me 0-0. I think that's probably the most likely now, because I can't see us scoring, and the way you're talking about West Ham, I can't see you scoring either.
No, I'm gonna stick with 1-1. I think it'd be 2 scrappy goals. But there we go. Thank you very much. We did do a video over on Stephen's channel. We'll put the link in the description down below. But thank you very much, mate. I hope to see you further on in the season. Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Nicky. Thanks for having me on.
One thing left for me to say, of course. Come on, you Irons.